Hey amazing artists, Mrs. Parven here. This week's theme is going to be all about weaving. Weaving is when you take two threads or yarns and they become interlaced at different angles. So some of the threads are going vertically and the other threads are going horizontally, and they're joined together to create a fabric or a textile. I have 3 really fun weaving projects to share with you this week. I can't wait to show you how.
When someone says weaving, this is probably what you're thinking of. Someone working on a loom. Weaving goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's what we call a textile art. Lots of things around us are woven. The most common thing is fabric, like you see on the right. But did you know that baskets are also woven?
So the first project we're going to do actually doesn't use yarn or ribbon or string at all. We're going to be weaving today with paper. If you've never woven before, this is a great place to start, just so you kind of get the idea of the under, over, under pattern. I have colored construction paper here. If you don't have construction paper, that's totally fine. You could use scrapbooking paper, wrapping paper, printer paper, newspaper, whatever you have, and we're gonna get started.
Okay, so you want to start with 3 pieces of paper. Notice here I have the cool colors. You could even use the texture paper or the Zen Doodle paper that you made in a previous project. 1 piece of paper is going to be the loom, and the rest we need to cut into strips to weave into the loom. So you could use a ruler or straight edge if you want, and we're going to cut across the short edge of the paper, not the tall way. And I'm going to start right now. I'm going to use the green paper here. I'm going to start with the ruler to make some straight lines across the short edge of the paper. Remember, this is the short way. You don't need to use a ruler if you don't want to. You could just free cut, but sometimes having the ruler lines gives you a way to cut. So I'm going to go right across on that line, all the way across the piece of paper like so, and just keep doing it until I have enough strips. I'm going to freehand cut a few now, and you can cut them different widths. They don't all have to be the same width. So some of the pieces could be skinny like this, some could be thick. That's going to add some nice variation when you go to weave. And you're just going to keep going until you have enough strips to work with. Now that our strips are done, we're going to start by making a loom with the last piece of paper. You're going to start by folding it in half the tall way, like so. Make sure the corners are lined up. Press down so there's a nice sharp fold at the bottom, so it looks like a card. And across the open end, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to draw a line straight across. That's going to be a stop. Now rotate your paper so the folded side is facing you. Lay it flat, and then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to draw a line from the fold to that line across the top, that stop line, all the way across. So you're not drawing from end to end, you're drawing from the fold to that stop line, like so. Okay, people, this is the trickiest part of making a loom. You're going to keep the paper folded, and now you're going to cut across from the fold to that stop line. Very slowly and carefully cut, stop. That's it. Let's try it again. Cut, stop. And keep going all the way across the paper. You're making little slits on the lines that you've drawn. You're going to keep going all the way across the paper. Go slowly and carefully. You don't want to cut past that stop line. Keep going. I got a couple more left here, almost at the finish line. And the last one here. So now I'm going to open it up, and I have the start of my loom. You want to flatten the loom out a little bit, especially where that fold was. It'll just be easier for you to weave. And you can see now we have all these slits. So we're going to start by taking a strip of paper, and you're going to start under the first slit, then over. then under and over. Every other one, under, over, and so on. Keep going under, over, until the strip has gone all the way across your loom. Like so, almost there. Whoop, we made it. And then push it up towards the top of that stop line. So now you're going to grab a strip of the other color and you're going to do the opposite. You're going to start over, then go under. Over, then under. So it's the opposite of the top row, creating almost like a checkerboard pattern. Every other row is going to be a different direction, either over, over, or under, over, under, if that makes sense. You'll get it once you start doing it yourself, I think. And then push it up. Now we go back to the first color. So I'm going to grab another purple strip and I'm going to start it the same way as I started the purple one. Under, then over, then over. We are making a pattern here, folks. Remember, we just worked with patterns not too long ago. So purple, then green, under, over, or over, under. Home stretch. I'm on my last strip here. Just make sure you keep pushing the strips up towards the top as you finish. It gets a little tight here at the bottom because there's not a lot of room left on the loom. Loom. I just made a little poem. And I'm going to tuck that last piece in. And almost there. Come on. There it is. It's finished. Came out really nice. And you can flip it over and smooth it out.
So for our second project, we're going to actually do a kente cloth weaving using yarn or ribbon or string, whatever you may have. You can even use the t-shirt yarn. There's a how-to video also posted this week if you don't have a ball of regular yarn. And you're going to need something to weave on. So a piece of cardboard, a foam tray, a paper plate, all of these will work. Something sturdy to make the loom on. Let me show you how.
So first you need to choose your loom. I'm going to use cardboard, but as I mentioned, a book, a plate, foam tray, these would all work. What you want to do is you need to cut some slits on each end of the cardboard. That's going to hold the yarn in place for what we call our warp. The warp is what we are weaving onto. So notice I'm cutting just little slits along the opposite edges of the cardboard. Now we're ready to prepare our loom. I'm going to use a thinner yarn and you just need a little bit of tape to hold it on the back of the loom. So I'm going to tape a little piece of masking tape and I'm going to tape it to the middle of the back, not on either end, just like so. And then I'm going to take my yarn and I'm just going to wrap it around, making sure that the yarn hooks into those little notches that I've cut. I'm going to wrap around and around those notches. The notches will hold the yarn in place and make it easier for us to weave. Notice I'm going slowly, just wiggling it in there all the way around the cardboard. And then I'm going to trim this end and tape it to the back like I did when I started. So, yep, take a little piece of tape right on the back, and when I flip it over, I'll be ready to get started. So now that I have my warp, I have to create what's called my weft, which is the pieces of yarn that are going to be woven onto the loom. It's a good idea to measure the length. You want it to be a little bit bigger than the width of the loom. So I'm just going to cut a few pieces of each color, just eyeballing it and snipping the yarn. And I'm just going to start making a nice little pile so that I can keep weaving. So I like to organize my colors ahead of time so it makes it easy to grab what I want. And I'm going to get started. It's going to be just like with the paper weaving. We're going to do a pattern of under, over, under, over, under, and over, and slip it straight up to the top to keep it tight. Now I'm ready for my next one. I'm going to actually choose the same color here. Nope, different color. So with the next row, we do the opposite, over, then under. It's opposite the first row, over, under, and slip it straight up to the top to keep those stitches nice and tight. All right, we're gonna keep going. Let's see, what do I wanna choose here? I've added a few more rows. Now I'm gonna try that t-shirt yarn that I handmade. And I'm just, remember, same thing, opposite. If I start under, then this one I'm starting over, under, and slipping it up to the top. I really like the way the t-shirt yarn adds a little bit of a different texture or feel against the regular yarn. So now opposite, under, over, and push. Okay, fast forward to my last row here. Remember, it's a little tight at the bottom. So I'm just gonna put this last piece in and finish. Now, you could leave your weaving on the cardboard just like this. It looks really nice. You could hang it up like this, or maybe you wanna separate it from the loom. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. We have to take the tape off like so. And then here comes the slightly scary part. You're gonna grab your scissors and you're gonna just snip those warp threads across. Notice I'm doing it in the center, not at the ends. Then we very carefully have to release them from the loom. So you're just gonna wiggle the threads out of those notches on both ends. Take your time with this, don't rush. And then gently push the cardboard out of the way. So now what we want to do is we want to tighten up the ends. So we're going to knot together 2 pieces at a time of those warp threads. So a double knot. Don't pull or tug too tightly because then you're going to pull on your whole weaving. So you're going to knot it once and twice. Then you're going to take the inside thread and knot it to the one that's next to it, like so. Very slowly without tugging. Do a single knot, then you're going to take the next thread and knot it to the one next to it. So you're going across the top, just like so. Once, twice, double knot, pull, and then do it again. Yep, just like this. I'm going to show you this on the cardboard. I think it's a little easier to see. So knot it once and twice, double knot, and then you're going to take the inside string and it's going to go over to its next door neighbors and you're going to knot that together just like so. Almost there, home stretch. There it is. Now it's all done. If you wanted to, you could knot off the sides in the exact same way. So I'm not going to knot off the whole thing because we'll be here for a long time. But let me show you how. Same thing, you start at the end. You knot it once and twice, just like so, and pull. And then you go to your next door neighbor and knot those 2 threads together like so. Once, then twice. And there you have it. Ta-da! Almost, yep, there it is. Beautiful. So not sure if you guys know this, but all these fun little friendship bracelets that you may have seen before, this is actually a kind of weaving. So I don't have this special embroidery thread, but that doesn't mean I can't make a cool bracelet like this. So for your third project, I'm going to show you how to do a braided bracelet, necklace, whatever you want to turn it into a chain as our last weaving project. So I'm going to use the t-shirt yarn that I made, and what you want to do is start by cutting 3 pieces all the same length, like so, and then we're going to knot the ends together, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to gather the ends and I'm going to do a slip knot. So that means you roll it around your finger 1 time, cross it, and then slip the ends into the loop. Let's try this. Again, for good measure. Okay, slip around your finger, cross it, and then slide the ends through the loop. That's called a slip knot because you're slipping the ends into it like so. And then pull tight. You want to leave a little bit on the end for when you tie it onto your wrist or your neck or wherever you're going to put it. Make it nice and tight. So we have that knot. And now we want to tape it down into place so it doesn't move around when we braid it. There we go, like so. So you want to separate the 3 strands out so you can see them clearly. Almost looks like a fork. And you're going to go from the outside to the middle, outside to the middle, like so. We're really just making a simple braid outside to the middle. You want to keep pulling it tight at the top as you're working. Outside to the middle, outside to the middle. So it's going over and then over and across. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to tape this down a little bit. It's sliding, so I want to make sure it doesn't move. So continue outside to the middle, outside to the middle, and I'm pulling. So the t-shirt yarn has a little bit of elasticity to it, so it's kind of bouncing back at me. So I'm just going to hold my other hand down to hold it tight as I'm braiding down the length. I also want to pull it tight so that my stitches are nice and tight to each other, like so. You're going to keep working your way down the length of the bracelet. So I'm tugging and braiding. I'm just holding it in my hands now. And I want to make sure that I have enough on the ends to do that slip knot again on the other end. So over to the middle, from the outside to the middle, I'm pulling it nice and tight. And I'm just finishing it up right here. Oh, it looks really good. Okay, it's finished. I have the slip knots on both ends. I can wrap it around. I think I can make this a double bracelet, which I really love, and just have someone tie it for you, or you could tie it and then put it around your wrist on your own. I hope you have fun. It looks great.
Don't forget to send me pictures of your awesome creations. And remember, stay awesome, keep smiling, and know how much I miss you. Bye.